All right, we've got to talk about the Nazca mummy. So get in here. This is Jack with Cosmic Road. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please like and subscribe and let me know what you think in the comments below. Yeah, Red Panda Koala says the difference between a human hand and a tridactyl alien mummy hand. Well, that is really cool. I like that comparison. You can see how different they are. The fingers being so much longer on the Nazca mummies because, of course, they had an extra phalange and they probably had much more bendy fingers, which may have allowed them to do things with only three fingers that are hard for us to imagine, and which may have made up for the lack of a thumb. And who knows? Maybe they could levitate objects and stuff. That doesn't appear to be a giant hand because the giant Nazca mummies had a different shape to their hands, and they were much larger, like 40 centimeters long, much more spindly looking fingers because they were so long. They look like spiders, right? And at least one of them has a gold disc in the palm. Maybe that's it right there. Fascinating stuff. I would love to know what that implant is for, and all the others too. Yeah, and there's Thierry Jamon, who is an integral part in all of this. We probably wouldn't be where we are on the Nazca mummies without Thierry. And it's interesting because it looks like Graham Hancock has been meeting with Thierry and his team. Yeah, a very nice and enjoyable evening with friends at the Inkari Institute, the Inkari Cusco Institute. The Inkari Institute is Thierry Jamon's institute. Lovely, fascinating people. That's interesting. Does that mean that Graham Hancock could get involved in the Nazca mummies? Obviously, Graham's interest is on mysteries of the ancient world, particularly human ancient world. But the humans of the Nazca region were living with these beings or aware of them. They're incorporating them into their artwork. They had, burying them, mummifying them. There was obviously, a close connection somehow between the humans and the beings. Did the beings, were they revered by the humans, as gods or something? Well, we don't know, but I'd be really interested to see what Graham's involvement, if he has any, turns out to be. Meanwhile, Wixie is wondering if the Atacama skeleton is the same as Adam, who was discovered in Monterrey, Mexico, who is this tiny little guy, all bent up. Josh McDowell, son of Dr. John McDowell, has said that he and their team, are going to start studying Adam. So hopefully you'll start getting some answers for this really intriguing little being. I want to know all about him. For example, how old he is, because the Atacama mummy, the Atacama body, was only a few decades old when it was discovered. That's what carbon dating showed, which seems to suggest that if indeed this is an anomalous being and not, as Gary Nolan publicly stated, a human with like 25 genetic, problems, then there could be a population of these guys still running around. Oh, and of course, we have to note that privately, Gary Nolan was saying something very differently. He was saying that these were non-human, and he admitted to saying that. But he says, that's just talk. Yeah, but that's some pretty juicy talk, Gary. That's some pretty juicy talk. So yeah, and obviously not directly related to the Nazca mummies, but pretty close. Pretty close. So I would love some answers on Adam, and I'm glad that Wixie is asking those questions. Meanwhile, Law Mark 1 is drawing comparisons between the little tridactyls, the Nazca mummies, in not only the Siberian mummy, which I've talked about before, notably those three holes on the side of it, and just the general appearance of it overall, it almost is basically a dead ringer for the little Nazca mummies. But what about the Jonathan Reed alien case? One of the most intriguing alien cases out there. Could they be one and the same, or at least a part of, in the same family? Obviously, they're not the same size, But Law Mark One thinks, yeah, maybe we're looking at the same thing. And he notes these three holes on the side as he sees it. I don't see those holes, but we'll go through it in more detail. Law Mark One, and I know his name is probably not pronounced Law Mark One, LW Mark One, but I think Law Mark is a little snappier. But let me know how you would prefer to be pronounced it. Mark. Maybe I'll just call him Mark. Mark. Uh, let me circle one more thing. He says Nazca Citadel mummies, Dr. Reed being that he caught in the being found in the Russian snow have circle indents in sides of the face. Besides every other feature, what more do y'all need? That is a fascinating possibility, man. And we're going to talk more about that. First is this video that Mark made where he shows the similarities, in particular the facial, the bone similarities. Yeah, you can see the how that matches up. I'm not quite sold on the three holes on the side, but yeah, the eyes are has same oblique eyes, same small nose, same kind of dent thing in the back of the head, or at least very similar. Really, Mark did a good job at matching those up. Now, I would love it if we could do like a one by one comparison to um, the videos taken at the Citadel, supposedly, like this one. I've been squinting at this one, trying to see if I could find those three little holes on the side. Of course, maybe you can't see them as well in life. I don't know. But really interesting. This could be a Nazca mummy in life that we're looking at, but we still don't have any firm answers on that. But getting back to the Jonathan Reed alien case and the similarities, you can see again, the ear hole, the oblique eyes. It really is very similar. Yeah, and we have to go over this great post from Tridactyls, the Twitter channel Tridactyls. He posted a lot of fascinating insights into his research on the Nazca mummies. A lot of it has to do with as he sees it, the amphibian nature of the Nazca mummies, or they have some amphibian DNA, according to him, which wouldn't surprise me at all. But this post isn't related to amphibians, but reptiles, because he is trying to explain those three holes on the sides of their face. He says the tridactyls may possess heat-sensitive infrared sensors. A biological parallel can be seen in snakes. And he shows, these dots on the snouts of snakes that are, heat-sensitive infrared sensors. So is that what we're looking at with the mummies? Wouldn't that be fascinating? I would love to know. Now, I was really wanting to know if the Reed alien could be, if we could identify those three holes. So I was looking at the video of the Reed alien, trying to see if we can make anything of it. And when Dr. Reed turns its head, you can kind of see the little indentations on the side of its head. You can see that ridge there and that ridge there. So you have these three separate sections of, you could say those are those three holes. Why that's important. Obviously, I don't think that if he had hoaxed that, he would have gotten all those things right, or at least all those things in common with the Nazca mummies, which were not known at the time. So, if we can verify these three holes on the side of the Reed alien, I think that we can say that the Reed alien is legit and that it might very well be related to the Nazca mummies. So I think that's super, super fascinating. But let me know what you guys think. Here's some better visuals of the Dr. Reed alien. Can you see any holes on the side of the face? No, but it's definitely a much better visual. Yeah, this is where you would see it. I'm not seeing it with this angle. I can see the ear hole and I can see the ridges on its face and stuff, but I'm not seeing that part of it. But hey, let me know if you guys can find it. Meanwhile, in very exciting news, there's going to be a new hearing in Peru, in the Parliament of Peru on the Nazca mummies. At least the motion to begin that process has been made and accepted. And yeah, they are going to go forward with the next hearing in Peru on the Nazca mummies. I can't wait for that. Meanwhile, a lot of people are talking about Alan Perez Munoz, who is the one who released a lot of the original images of the Nazca mummies on his Facebook page. Now, I've been talking about Alan for a while. I even communicated with him a little bit, about a year ago. But Brian Colding II says, I am no one special, but I am an avid researcher of eclectic history. Nothing official, just something I do privately for myself. Last year, I got in touch with a man by the name of Alan Perez Munoz. Most of you probably don't know who that is, but you've seen the Nazca mummies. You've felt the impact of his actions. Alan was one of the very first people to whom the Huaqueros shared their discovery, and this prompted Alan to share as much evidence as he could, particularly through Facebook. Alan did a lot of the early legwork in terms of proliferating knowledge of the discovery, and to this day, most of what he shared has gone under the radar. And there are some images that Alan shared on his Facebook post, including that fascinating bust or whatever that is, which does not look South American in any way, which is just super fascinating. And the images of the mantis being or the giant Nazca being, whatever that thing is supposed to be, images of the architecture of the site, the crazy pyramid, the headdress that may have been worn by Maria. Anyway, let's get on to the interview. And I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I encourage you to go check it out at your leisure. And then I will share a clip that I made about a year ago, talking about Alan, because he's an interesting cat. Alan says the Nazca beings are beings from their previous era. They, the Huaqueros, had contact with beings of Mu, also known as Lemurians. They are the survivors of that era, and they evolved from toads and or frogs, which will appeal to Tridactyls, the Twitter channel Tridactyls. They are the Tridactyls, and they are peaceful. The Lemurians are also blue or green, not gray. Alan, in Peru, we have sacred texts that mention how they are species created before humans, and they are the ones who planted vegetation across the world. They are peaceful. The blue ones are originally from Earth. The green ones are from another planet. And there are also tall white beings from another planet as well. Although most of them are peaceful, they sometimes will defend themselves from humans trying to kill them. Defending themselves from humans that are trying to kill them. Alan says, my friend made contact with a saphoid and a reptilian being. For this, an energy offering was made to demonstrate peace. They also use energy in the mind for their surgical interventions. And the other being is not like a mantis, but rather like a kind of ant without antenna. Also, the one that appears in the video spits so as not to be caught. And he shows the mantis being or whatever it is, then the weird noise it makes, and he says it was spitting. Can the Nazca beings teach this? His spit seems to be acidic. Now, the contact was in direct astral travel. It was recorded by webcam. There is video only in Spanish. Humans can develop these gifts, but you have to have a lot of discipline. And I'll let you listen to the rest or read the rest of the interview at your leisure. Alan has a lot of really interesting thoughts and beliefs about the Nazca mummies and how they might be connected to, Lemuria and Hyperborea and so on. And in fact, I was actually talking about this a year ago when I made this video related to Atlantis. Which would not surprise me. A powerful seafaring race from back in the day. Maybe they did have some interaction with Atlantis. Yeah, just speculation. Just speculation. None of the other characters match that I know of. So that may just be random coincidence. But there is writing on this pyramid found at the tomb. And I would love to know what it means. The good news is we are going to find out what this thing means. Okay, these were from a scroll taken from the site. Apparently, they call them Rolos. It's yeah. Anyway, well, one of my viewers, a really great viewer named Jinx, was able to decipher this. So we're going to go over his translation of this Rolo or Royo. And I just want you to know this is posted by Alan Perez Munoz. This scroll or whatever it was that was taken from the site. Now it's not ancient. It looks ancient, but per Jinx, the translation references modern technology, so it's not as ancient as it may seem. And that site, the site that was releasing a lot of this, the website, the Facebook page, they use and some of the other material, they use words like Hyperborea. Now, if you're not familiar with Hyperborea, it's basically the Arctic Atlantis. Now, I love Hyperborea. I actually wrote half of a novel before moving on to something else about a night of Hyperborea, and I do plan to finish that at some point. So, Hyperborea is really cool. But why would it be referenced in, on that website and that Facebook page? We really don't have a lot of information about the people that are releasing this information, or at least I don't. It's not a lot of it available in English. So if you've come across this information about who these guys are that are releasing this, let me know. Let me know. But what does this say? Well, per Jinx, says this is the translation of that long scripture. Telepathic translation of the Inca stones. So that scroll, that Royo, is a translation of something else. A telepathic translation. Okay. Dictated by the Divine Father Jehovah, the Inca stones represent a highly remote civilization succeeding the Atlantean civilization. This civilization received 1/3 of the knowledge of the Atlanteans. They were called the ones from the Yellow Planet, a vanished planet. Their reign lasted for a period of 8,000 years, 8,000 ancient years, where one ancient year equaled 4 of the current ones. These creatures were not from the root of Adam and Eve. As there is diversity in the vineyard of the Father, the earth has centuries as ancient as the molecules it holds. Scientists couldn't calculate the earth's age due to the complexity beyond human mental power. The civilization from the Yellow Planet consisted of beings of 2 sizes. Those who multiplied on Earth were giants, measuring up to 8 meters, while the first arrivals were family of twins around 1 meter 20. They had large eyes and similar faces akin to a large family of twins. They arrived in flying saucers, aware of the Atlantean catastrophe, witnessed through the solar television of their celestial ships. They were great sages with remarkable abilities to manipulate matter and prophetic powers. Their disappearance from Earth was gradual and natural. During their reign, the Earth had a different shape, and prehistoric animals were diminishing. They communicated with the galaxy, possessed enormous landing strips, and drew galactic symbols such as the trident representing the Trino galaxy. They knew about the Trinity and the creation of life. Their departure left a significant influence on the current races of Japan and China, particularly in microscopic carving and silent mental concentration. Microscopic carving. Okay, I'm not sure what that means exactly. Silent mental concentration. Does that mean they help them develop like meditation techniques and stuff like that? This civilization did not worship images, unlike contemporary religions, as their evolution had overcome the strange gold complex. They had overcome the gold complex. Well, there were golden breastplates found on one of the beings, so, but maybe that was just, that's a clothing. That's not currency, so who knows? The stones also depict geometric lines representing houses, symbolizing the macrocosm called the kingdom of heaven. Circles with waves symbolize mental waves or ideas, emphasizing the interconnectedness of the micro in the macrocosm. Pyramids signify the solar trinity and the divine Father Jehovah, and their different sizes indicate judgment, individuality, and the impending fall of a strange system of life born from the laws of gold. These stones hold a telepathic record of a civilization that understood the cosmos in the microscopic intricacies of matter, leaving behind a legacy that influenced various civilizations on Earth. They foresaw a time of transition and judgment, indicating a profound impact on humanity's spiritual and material aspects. Okay, I will link to that video. You can read the rest of that or listen to the rest of that and watch my other information in that interesting video from a year ago. But those are some of Alan Perez Munoz's beliefs, seemingly taken from this scroll or rollo from the Nazca Citadel or tomb, supposedly. Some pretty exotic and wild, beliefs and theories, whatever they are. I don't know what to make of this. I've never known what to make of this. But yeah, it's tied up with Mu and the Lemurians and Atlantis and Hyperborea. It's pretty wild, and it's connected to the Nazca mummies. Now, I believe in Atlantis and those ancient worlds, and I believe they're it's entirely feasible in my worldview that there could have been some interaction or causality there. I don't know the truth of it, and until I know more information, I'm really on the fence about all of that. But I wanted to share that with you because it's fascinating, and that is where Alan Perez Munoz is coming from. But who knows, guys? He could be right. Oh, and by the way, Alan left a very long and detailed reply on one of my videos the other day. And I may read that to you, going through the kind of the history of the Nazca mummies, from his point of view, how he got into it and what, the process was of discovery and revelation. So I may read that to you in a future video if you guys are interested in that. I've been in touch with Alan before, and I was really hoping to interview him, and I still am at some point. But he does not speak English, and that has been kind of a stumbling block. So hopefully we'll find a workaround on that sometime, because as you can tell, Alan's a fascinating guy. So let me know what you guys think about it all in the comments below. Like and subscribe. Hit the bell to be notified of future videos. You don't want to miss a thing. Join me on social media. There's Facebook and Twitter links below. Love to see you guys there. If you want to support Cosmic Road in a bigger way, consider grabbing a coffee mug or a t-shirt from the merch store below, or becoming a channel member. Channel members are rock stars, and I really do appreciate you guys' support. Thank you. Meanwhile, there's plenty of other videos on the channel, and I'll see you next time. This is Jack with the Cosmic Road, signing out.